Ohtani, Wednesday, Philly. That is then scrapped Sunday morning before the first game of the doubleheader, with Dave Roberts saying that Ohtani is effectively shut down from pitching for the foreseeable future. Quote, "It's not going to be a day-to-day thing. The first step is getting him into a spot where he feels like, and we feel like, he can pitch and not regress. At that point in time, we can kind of read and react. I just can't even when that might be right now." So there is no timeline here. Shohei Ohtani is not going to win the Cy Young. He is not going to pitch for at least a month, would be my guess. And it throws, what's that?
I don't think we know. I mean, that is what it sounds like, but I don't think Dave has any idea when he's going to pitch again. I guess this is also one of those things where the build up, what does that mean? How long it's been since he amassed any sort of workload? Maybe that factors in. So I'm not going to put any time on it when he's not going to, but yeah, I'm not expecting to see him, but who knows?
If someone says it's not a day-to-day thing, in my mind, it's at least 2 weeks, because it's like, for pitchers, that's one, they're going in on a 6-man. So it's like, a start is a week, right? So I think if he's going to say this is going to take some time, it's going to take some time. Dave Roberts is usually kind of upfront about that type of thing. I think that, like, there's a lot of different threads here with Ohtani. I'd like to focus on, like, him first, and then we'll talk about what it means for the Dodgers after. There's been this push-pull in Ohtani's career about what he wants to do and what is best for the team. And often those two things are compatible, because Shohei Ohtani going out there and hitting a bunch of home runs and striking out a bunch of guys is good for the team. What is best for the 2026 Dodgers, obviously, is for Ohtani to not pitch and to rest his knee and to rest himself and to take it easy and to not chase these individual accomplishments and to go out in October and set the world on fire again as they try and go for the three-peat. But sometimes Ohtani has these personal goals, which are understandable. He has been upfront. He wants to win the Cy Young this year. And I thought that this was an interesting moment of him kind of grappling, handling, being aware and accepting his own limitations, right? Could Shohei Ohtani have pitched through this ailment that he's facing? My guess would be yes. If there was a playoff game tomorrow, I think they would just pump his knee with the good stuff and he would go out there and throw 5, right? But what we have here is Ohtani seeing the bigger picture, or the Dodgers communicating that bigger picture to Ohtani. And I think that is really important, because the Cy Young as the last mountain for him to climb, that must mean something significant to Ohtani. We don't know, because he never talks and we know so little about this guy. But I think it's fair to deduce that him giving up on this thing is not easy for him. And so I do think in this moment, he deserves a little bit of kudos for getting the bigger picture at play.
Yeah, and it's also just much more simply another example of him pushing the physical limits. He's proven that from a talent standpoint, there's nothing we can say anymore. He is one of the best pitchers in the world. He is one of the best hitters in the world. That is amazing. At his best, he is the best at both, and it is completely nonsense that we are living in this time and get to watch this. So in terms of can he do it, the answer at this point is obviously yes. Can his body hold up to do it to the maximum degree that he would like to? I think the answer to this point is no. I mean, which is fine, because it might not matter as long as he can do it in October when it counts the most. And I'm sure at this point, he's also recognizing that my goal is to win 10 World Series in my 10 years with the Dodgers. And he's 2 for 2. And he clearly knows that once he gets to October, if he can get back to do the best version of that has to be the goal. I'm sure at some point when he was dealing with this over the last month or so, he thought, no, there's still time for me to pitch enough innings to win the Cy Young. To your point, it probably feels like once that started to slip away, he could kind of let go and be like, all right, Fine, I will
Yeah.
focus on being the best leadoff hitter that I can be, which he continues to be quite good at, and I will get my body right. But I think that it is just a small thing. We don't know exactly how he's feeling, how much pain he's in. He continues to hit and run the bases and do all these
So
things. But it is an example of the fact that his body can only handle so much, and that's fine. That's a completely understandable
Yeah.
series of events for this to happen, considering he's only getting older. He's been through a lot already. He's had his multiple arm surgeries, and it's not surprising that it's finally some other part of his body is like, ow, I'm doing too much baseball. That is not a shocking development at all.
people are always like, oh, listen to your body. I think we're listening to Ohtani's body. It is worth understanding his left knee and how it functions in pitching and in hitting. So one of the most interesting things to me about Ohtani and what makes him one of the 90 million things that makes him remarkable is that as a right-handed thrower and a left-handed swinger, he is rotating in two different directions. So like his body symmetry is outrageous, right? I can never really comprehend. His left knee when he's pitching is his lead leg. And there is a lot of force. Kind of every time you pitch, you are slamming that lead leg into the ground and then catapulting your body over that lead leg and putting all the weight on that leg. When you're hitting, because he's a left-handed hitter, that's his plant leg. You are not slamming it into the ground. Now you need to be able to push off of it, and there's still a lot of ground forces involved, but there's no impact on that leg into the ground over and over and over again. And it seems that is where the discomfort's coming from. There was a moment in yesterday's game, I think in game 1 of the doubleheader, he fouled a ball off of his left knee, and you could kind of see him rubbing it and shaking it out past what you would expect given the play itself. Like, it was clear that it wasn't at 100%. The fact that he's still able to go out there and be one of the best leadoff hitters on the planet is remarkable. What a player. I'm curious to see if it impacts his sprint speed, his ability to run. That is something worth keeping an eye on. But do I think this will make him a worse hitter? No, I do not. He has clocked long balls through Tommy John rehab before. I will never doubt this man. Let's talk about the Cy Young. That's dead. I think we agree with that. NL MVP? Is it up for grabs now? Because Pete Crow-Armstrong, who I think would be the number 2 guy in a lot of people's ballots right now, during All-Star was asked about this. He was like, what do you think you need to do to beat Ohtani for MVP? He was like, I need to do a throwing program in the offseason and learn how to pitch. That's the only way I'm beating this guy. Now, if Ohtani throws 4 more starts, does he still win this unanimously?
Let's just say he doesn't pitch again in the regular season. All right, for the sake of argument.
Great.
Because I still don't think this is a conversation, but let's indulge. All right, let's try to think it out. Let's say he doesn't pitch again in the regular season, but he finishes with, I mean, his OPS is still higher than PCA. Yes, PCA is playing one of the best center fields we've ever seen, and Ohtani is a DH, so that you could say that cancels out, right? And we'll see how PCA, God bless him, that is someone that we've seen is also liable to go ridiculously ice cold over a long stretch. So I have no idea how he's going to finish his season, which is another thing. Let's just not extrapolate on how he's going to go. That said, I mean, I'm sorry, people. I know it's boring, but if Ohtani doesn't pitch again, he's banked 14 of the best starts that any pitcher has made this season, on top of the fact that he is going to have 30 homers and probably an OPS over 900. Like, I know people are talking. It's sorry, he's still the right answer. I don't really know what else to say. I feel bad for all the people in the National League. But yeah, please. I mean, you're welcome to. I don't think it's. I would not be hard for me to vote for Ohtani without thinking about it. I say maybe it opens the door for other people to get a vote or two. I do not, which is still significant because he's won so many of these unanimously. So that would still be news. Like, that would still be a big deal for anybody to even wrestle away a vote or two from him. But as far as him not winning, no, I do not think this opens the door whatsoever, even if he does not pitch again this season.
I think it opens the door, and it only opens the door for PCA. If PCA do I think this will happen? No, I think Ohtani will win unanimously. If PCA's offensive numbers are at or above Ohtani, there is a PCA argument. That argument is that his defense is as valuable as Ohtani's pitching, right? Because he is a singular defender. No one in the sport is as good at defense as Pete Crow-Armstrong is, right?
Yep.
And so then if you're saying that and Ohtani on the mound is even, and then you have PCA's offensive line and Ohtani's offensive line, that's even. In my mind, then the tiebreaker would be PCA having 25 steals and Ohtani having 6 right now. You know, like I think there's a path there. I do. Like
Sure.
PCA at this point in time, like, could he go 40-40? Probably not. He's at 21 homers, 25 steals. He'll go 30-30 for sure. Like, again, I'll take Ohtani. Probably. Yeah. I'll take Ohtani 97 times out of 100. But I think last week I would have taken him 100 out of 100. And that is notable to me.
Yeah, I think it is fair. It is interesting. I think, and by the way, let's just play it really straight. Fangraphs, hilariously, I don't think this even existed before Ohtani, but now it does. They're combined WAR leaderboards. I guess they have it because then you can compare the hitters and pitchers on the same page. But because it lists his both batting WAR and pitching WAR, Ohtani right now is at 6.1. PCA is at 5.9. Then it's a huge drop off to Bobby Witt, Jordan, Miz, Otto Lopez, God bless him. So you're right. And PCA, while I am not as impressed by PCA being the best center fielder than Ohtani being one of the best pitchers, obviously, he is out there a whole lot more than Ohtani is, right? I believe he spent more innings in the field than almost any defender in the league besides maybe Matt Olson and Ozzie Albies. I know it's pretty close. So yeah, I think you can sort of argue that while he cannot singularly impact a single game in the same way that Ohtani can when he takes the mound and throws 6 awesome innings, I think it is an interesting argument. I think what it will depend on, though, is what I alluded to earlier, which is that PCA has proven to be very streaky. And so let's see where that OPS ends up. Let's see where that OBP ends up. Right now, it's obviously an enormous step forward from even what he did last year offensively, which is why he's in these conversations. That's why his WAR is so high, in addition to his amazing defense. So I agree. This is interesting. For now, I'm going to defer to the greatest baseball player we've ever seen, who threw 14 amazing starts and has a 900 OPS.
Fair.
No, which, by the way, it sounds like PCA agrees. So at least for now. So
that is true.
And so let's give him that.
For the Dodgers moving forward, they're going to stick with the 6-man. That means they are going to either bullpen game their way through that 6th spot. They'll call up some guys. Like Snell is starting to work his way back again. Where is Tyler Glass now? Gavin Stone, River Ryan. Like they have injured pitchers that will at some point return as well. Do they need to add someone at the deadline? They have like Cole Irvin in AAA. It would be silly to see them go get an arm. But if they're going to stick with the 6-man, I do think it is going to be interesting to see how they cover that spot every time through the rotation.
I was going to say that they have to press the River Ryan button here at some point, but it seems like he's maybe hurt again also.
Yeah, he's hurt.
He's not pitched since June 17th. That is disappointing because of how he looked early on in the season. But yeah, how they patch it together on the mound through the rest of the regular season will be interesting. But also, frankly, it's hard to really care that much because they're
treating this like spring training.
Yeah, 11 and a half games up.